the data mega center. How do we go about getting affordable housing for our young people? It seems to be two questions in one. What is your stand on data centers?
Well, data centers, I don't think have any place in our county here. And I was listening to a gentleman now who's talking about the largest power company in America over the next 3 years will need $6 billion to upgrade the infrastructure for data centers. And I don't know who's gonna pay for that. I guess that's probably gonna be us. My bottom line, 70% of the Americans don't want massive data centers next door, and local control must be given to towns and counties. Now, cities and villages pretty much trump counties, but if a community chooses to welcome one, I think it's right, but big tech companies must pay 100% of their own power grid. I don't like them. I think there's a place for them. I don't know if, they're saying that office buildings are being emptied at an incredible rate with all the people working at home. I don't know if they can put them in there. But if a community wants them, I think that's up to them. But I don't care for them, but I'm not gonna say you can't have it either. But the power needs to go definitely to the people.
Okay, that was the first question. It seems there are two questions on here.
And another one was on housing.
The second one,
Yep.
I'll repeat it. How do we go about getting affordable housing for our young people?
I think we need to, the permit fees and the building codes and the size of the house that you have to build, we've strangled ourselves, and we need to somehow reel all that in and come up with ways that we don't have to charge thousands of dollars to have somebody dig a hole, and then you have a tax to dig the hole, and they tell you exactly what size house that you're gonna build. And I believe that our building codes a lot of them are probably too strong, or unions have set some of that code for the way that we build our houses. I think we could save a lot of money doing things like that. I think zoning and smaller lots is a way that we could help our younger people do more affordable houses. We just had our kid buy a house, and it was tough. It's they're fortunate they got one in Eagle. But anybody young, it's completely different when we bought houses. And even for us, right, your house is worth all of a sudden $900,000, where do you go? Because the next one you're gonna buy is gonna cost you $1 million probably. So that's a problem that we gotta figure out, and I think some of that we can reel in. I think some of the housing might lighten up when the baby boomers, because all of us are keeping our houses. Yeah, we can't get interest like we have now, right? So we're not gonna be selling. But I think we have to look at our zoning, our building codes, and we have to go about like that.
Okay, you're finished?
I'm finished.
Okay, next question. What is your stance on WEC, Wisconsin Election Commission?
I think it should be the WIC.
WIC.
Yeah, WIC. I think that should be abolished and go to the Secretary of State. Elected official should do that. I wrote a little few years in. I have a little more for that. Okay, so I wrote a little thing because I thought this question might come up. Unlike the bureaucrats in Madison, shouldn't be running our elections with zero direct accountability to the voters. I support abolishing WEC and restoring election administration to elected a constitutional officer like the Secretary of State, so the people of Wisconsin can hold them directly accountable at the ballot box.
Okay, you're finished?
I'm done.
Okay. What is your position on eminent domain?
I don't like it. I think it's something that should very limited ever be used. I suppose there's circumstances that you have to do something like that, but I don't like it. I think if you go down to the Foxconn area in Racine County where they made all these people move, and now all these people are they're paying the burden for their taxes going up for all the services that had to be provided, that all this business isn't there now. I mean, now they're building a data center, but some of the people I was speaking with at the fair, especially in Yorkville, in that area, their, assessments have gone up way in their taxes because of all the services that were supposed to be planned for this big event. And I can remember there's a farm, there were 2 or 3 people that held out on that over there for eminent domain. It just, I think one of them was a huge family that, a number of years there, and now they didn't have to move, in my opinion. So I think, obviously there's cases you have to use it, but it's something that wouldn't want to use very often. If you're putting a big freeway through or something, but I'm not in favor of eminent domain. So hopefully there's ways to work around that.
Okay, you're finished? Okay, please explain your views on solar farm expansion data centers, low-income development in places like Burlington and Union Grove.
Well, solar farms, I think
Do you
I
wanna
kind of.
add anything to
Yeah,
what you?
well, I really think that needs to be with the towns and, counties, they need to have a say, you can't be, right now you can come and talk about it, but if they meet all the stuff in the A1, which is very minimal, they're gonna get it, because as soon as you walk out and say no, you're gonna, your county or town will get sued, so that needs to be carved out in X 67, to give the power back to the people. That one's important to me. Did they have data centers on there too?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and, same thing with, data centers, that needs to go through the people, and it seems like they're building these solar farms and data centers. I know in Darien, that they put up, 1,200-1,400 acre solar farm, and that's through the Public Service Commission. And we really don't have any say in that one, because anything over 100 megawatts is all Public Service Commission. They pretty much stop in at the county and they'll say, hey, we're taking 1,400 acres, this is what we're gonna do, and it doesn't seem like they're truthful. Now, in Darien, I know they're adding a power plant, to run that grid, because at night when the power drops down, they gotta keep the same power, and I don't think they were truthful on this power plant. It's, according to them, it's supposed to be clean and jet engines that you don't hear, but it was never really part of the plan, even though it was like carved out. And I think the Public Service Commission is something that really needs to be looked at. The governor appoints, 3 people, I believe, and they all have 6-year terms on there that decide our fate. I don't agree with that. Either. I don't have the answers to that right now, but that there's no power to the people on that. I think that's long decided before we even know about it. You just stop in and say, hey, too bad, so sad, or something like that. So that was a word.
Low-income development in places like Burlington and Union Grove.
Well, I think.
Anything you're gonna add?
Well, I think it's important that we work in housing. I know Walworth County, we have a commission set up that is looking into that. We have builders that are actually come up with reasonable price houses. I guess, you said Burlington is where?
Correct, and Union Grove.
Right, I think that's something we need to have housing for our people. I don't, so I don't know, that's something to look into. Once you got to the state.
Okay. How do you feel about our Second Amendment rights? Then there's some more, but it's like a 3-part question. So first would be Second Amendment rights.
Well, that's something that I would live by, and I think we should all live by.
Okay, you're finished. And then it says pornography books and public schools and libraries having, the books, that give sexual information to kindergartners or first graders, or that this is all right or this is normal.
I would be that's
not being in public school.
absolutely
Well,
not.
then the teachers do something about curriculum.
Right, I would not like that.
What is your stance on foreign investors buying up Wisconsin farmland?
I think that's terrible, that's something that we definitely need to stop, and to even be fair, I'll go as far as saying, even a solar farm that went in the Troy Center, that was a out-of-state person that had that land, but it makes it, the amount of money that these solar farms are paying, for rent is incredible. I've heard as high as $1,500 an acre for a solar farm. That's, I mean, it's crazy. So absolutely, we need to keep our land, in the USA, and that's the period.
Okay, any other questions? Feel free to raise your hands and going through them very rapidly. What is your stance on Sharia law and Muslims and their own cities? Could be two part, could be one part.
Because I don't know what Sharia law is.
Sharia is the Muslim law
Okay.
and their court system, mercy
So-
killings and beheading.
Yeah, I wouldn't, none of that should, so in America though, are they, yeah, I would not, they have to live by our rules, period. Big period.
What's been the most challenging part of this campaign so far for you?
Well, about the 12 or 14 hour days, it's been a lot of work with my wife. We had a grandbaby on July 4th at 11 p.m.
Really?
His name was Micah. He waited just enough to tease us, and I got really good support. It's killing my wife that we haven't been down. Our son's in the Air Force at Altus, Oklahoma. So as soon as I win, hopefully, we're gonna head down and see our grandchild. It's been a lot of challenging, but it's been a lot of fun. I've grown up in Racine County. I've saw so many people I can reconnect with from grade school and high school. I mean, there's a lot of good. The pancake. I did so much stuff I never would have done before. I have to say, including, I think Lisa would attest to that. We've really gone out now. Kind of sucks we live on a lake. We haven't had our boat out at all since June 9th. But it's worth it. And actually, taking my old truck around, it's been cool, and everybody has seen my truck. I just can't believe it when I go, I've seen your truck. I don't know, was the most stressful part was this actually?
Challenging part. What's the most challenging
Probably
part?
not sleeping. I think for sure I have not, I do the number one things even with this going on is Warwick County is taking care of the business. I've got great support helping me. But I was maintaining a job, which has been very good to me at work. But so lack of sleep would be the biggest challenge.
Okay. This has 3 or 4 sentences and then it gets to the question. Municipal roads across Wisconsin are in rough shape. Wisconsin is not giving enough money to municipalities for repairs of their municipal roads. How would you support local municipalities in their endeavors to finance the repairs necessary without going further into debt?
I'm gonna
Concerning
start out
roads.
saying Wisconsin doesn't have a revenue problem, we have a spending problem. That's a big issue, especially with culverts in the state of Wisconsin. We have the towns, cities, and villages, which I talked to you about. There's 17,000 culverts in the state of Wisconsin that were put in, a lot of them were put in 7 years ago. So guess what the lifespan is on a culvert? It's about 70 years. So we're all going bad. Spring Prairie's got a bad one. Town of East Troy has put one in. And they started digging it out and got into a problem. It's a regular culvert, but I mean, boats went through it. This culvert that started out being like $450,000, it's gonna be $550,000 to $600,000 with no state funding. The state funding for all those culverts is very minimal. They have a pretty tough grading system. I think you have to have a 1 or a 2 to get any state funding. And the culvert would almost have to be falling down. They don't, so if all the earth and stuff alongside of it is bad and you have to replace it like with pylons, they don't take any of that account in the numbering system. I think by straightening out the DOT and tightening the purse strings, we need to give our towns money for culverts and roads. I would, pursue my, theory that DOT tightening the purse strings, rather tight. I would be very personal on making sure that that got done. So, I don't over answer that question maybe, but.
Well, you didn't run out of time.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any?
Any new questions, just sitting there? All right. This is 2 questions also. I'll take the first one. Do you support expanding private schools, voucher programs, or ESA systems in Wisconsin?
Well, I think, I would support school choice, absolutely. The question is, what do you mean by support? Fund them or support? I would support private schools.
Expanding private school vouchers, the voucher program.
Yes.
You would want to expand the systems in Wisconsin.
Well, I think school choice is important.
If so, how do you defend diverting state aid away from public school districts that are already struggling with flat funding and inflation?
I think, public schools is something we really need to look at as far as, auditing and looking at the books. It seems to be a common theme that, public schools don't want to show their books, and it's something I think we can work through and not just have referendums and just throwing more money at stuff. I don't think it's gonna fix stuff. So I think we need to, look at the books and maybe come up with a different formula to get our public schools back in where they should be.
I am not a fan of Wisconsin counties associations. They were too aggressive for COVID. Do you think we need Wisconsin counties associations?
Well, that's actually something that we dropped out of for, I want to say almost 5 years. No, I don't think that's something that we need, and I would agree that they were awful aggressive at the beginning of COVID. Because, in my opinion, fear that was unneeded, and counties, including our own county, I think jumped the gun by listening to them. Do we need them? No, especially Warwick County. I've attended their meetings where counties want to learn from Warwick County, really, that we're run. So, do we need them? No. We did rejoin. However, but I can tell you that the COVID thing, when they came out with their guidelines of what to do, that was not something, administrators were listening to that stuff, and I don't agree with that, but we don't need it.
Okay. What, next question? Am I going to ask? Mr. Timer? Okay. What are some ways that you plan to slow or fix Madison's spending problems, their issues?
I want to audit every department. Wisconsin doesn't have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem. We have to cut our spending. I just can't imagine the waste in the DOT, because I'm on the roads at night and what goes on, and the authority of whoever shuts down a major freeway, and they shut them down, sometimes they're not, the workers don't show up, or it's gonna rain, and you have a stretch of a 10-mile freeway shut down, because right hand is on the left hand, or something, I don't know, but I've seen it several times. I just think auditing these departments, getting their, find out where the waste is something I would be dead set on. That we did that in Walworth County, and I would like to take that up to Madison and use that same theory, it's a tough process, I'll tell you that, you have to be, strong, but I'd like to take the same example in Madison.
You're finished? Okay. The rapid expansion of low-income housing seems to be ruining the rural cultural values and dragging down the safety/quality of life in small towns. Any thoughts? The expansion of low-income housing.
So you read the first part of it, take it down the.
The rapid expansion of low-income housing seems to be ruining rural cultural values and dragging down the safety/quality of life in small towns. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree also to get a building that goes up that holds 200 or 300 people, that's, something I think, when it gets approved, that they need to, listen to their residents, if they want that, then fine, if they don't want it, that's something that the power of the people need to, determine.
Okay. This one is about public schools again. Public schools get money not contingent upon performance. Do you feel public school funding should be performance-based?
Yes, I think it should be.
Ready, Mr. Frank? Where do you draw the line between legislative oversight from Madison and local school board autonomy regarding curriculum decisions, book challenges, and operational mandates? This is from, about local schools again, for their autonomy, curriculum decisions, book challenges, and operational mandates. Legislative oversight from Madison to the local school boards.
Well, I think some of the formulas need to be reworked, but if they're taking state money, and we need to have schools function at a good level where we go back to the basics of, teaching math, science, and arithmetic, and doing things on that level.
Okay. Since you showed up tonight, why was this event important to you? Any thoughts about Mr. Wickland missing?
It's important to me to get out and spread the word and hear the, kind of where I've come from in the county that I live in and the work that we've done. I never, joined the board 20 years ago to be on it that long. It's been a challenge, and, every phone call that I've received and, people that have talked to me, I've always returned every phone call. I'm more of a personal phone call than an email, because I think by text you can read things different. I don't know what to think of Mr. Wickland. I think that shows it all, I guess.
Okay. Are you in favor of Tyler August being the next speaker? It seems that he would be in the same mold as Robin Voss, where politics is more important than principle.
Well, I think I gotta get through the primary before I would, worry about that. I'm not interested in anybody being a speaker. I wanna get up and, get through the primary, and then, I work on that.
Finished?
Yep.
Okay, there's a second question. Are you 100% pro-life?
Yes.
One word answer. Okay. Someone has heard rumors that Ellen Schutt and especially Steve Wickland campaigns are funded and supported by Robin Voss. Would you like to comment on that? It isn't a question.
I don't know anything for sure. I mean, if you look on, Facebook, you can see probably some of the likes and some of the people, but other than that, I wouldn't make any other comments, so.
There is a real good chance that we will have a DSA, Democratic Socialist candidate for governor. How dangerous would it be for her to win?
I don't even think about that. I've had the chance to meet Tom Tiffany quite a bit, and he's just like me. He's an old farm boy that you can really relate to. He's a good guy. I don't see him losing if they're talking about Han. I don't know. I think I'd leave the state. I just feel what they're offering to run, I don't see how Tom Tiffany moves. After meeting him and his energy that he has, he's a great guy. We just have to get out and vote and make sure that doesn't happen. The little bit I've seen on her on TV is, I can't believe that's what they're running. That's really all I can say about that.
Is anybody working on a question that maybe I didn't see? You have a question? All right, oh, there's some more questions. Are you willing, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Are you willing to stand on principles even when it goes against party leadership? It seems like most representatives in the past were afraid of the consequences of what would happen if they went against the speaker. So it's kind of a two-part question. Are you willing to stand on principles when it goes against party leadership?
So, a little story, when I decided to do this, we had to go to Madison, what's called a RAC meeting. They taught us about finance, and my wife had to go up there, I had my treasurer, you go up there all day, you learn about running, and there's other assemblymen telling you what to expect and not to expect. So at the end of this meeting, they told us you have to prepare a speech for 3 minutes to get up and talk. So maybe my wife went downstairs, and we kind of looked in her room, there's all china and glass and all fancy, and I went up to the lady, I said, who are we giving the speech to? And they said, lobbyists. So I told Lisa there was a graduation at Lakeland School in Elkhorn. We left there and we went there. Absolutely not. I would stand on my principles. When I first got on the board, that was before Act 10, when we had all the unions. They didn't know what to make with me. Finally, the unions even gave up talking with me, because I was called like they never knew I was gonna vote because I never showed my cards. So I would definitely stand on my principle, absolutely.
Okay, it seems like most